Not my grandfather's beginning to Rosh Hashana in Lithuania. But that is the sound that comes to us from Psalm 150. For the last of the Psalms tells us about all the great instruments that must have been used as our ancestors approached the walls of Jerusalem to celebrate the new year with blast of shofar. We'll have that a little later. Harp, lyre, drumbeat, dancing, strings and flute, crash of resounding cymbals. So we thank Ava Nahas, who plays with us for our Shabbat Zimra as well, and our choir and Susan and Cantor for all their magnificent beginning to our day of prayer. We welcome all of you to University Synagogue. We're so delighted that you're here with us this morning. We hope that you have an interesting crash of prayer and sound and song and meaning this morning.
Shana Tova. We continue our service as one community as we rise together on page 142 for our Baruch Hu. As we turn together to page 150 for our Shema, as we sing these beautiful words, let us think about the beauty of listening. Whose voices will we listen to in this coming year? How will we hear the sound of love and compassion in our lives? Shema, page 150.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated. We continue together, page 152 and 153, as we chant the words of Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta. We turn together at the bottom of page 163, and we offer these words responsively as a community. I'll begin with the first remember, and as a community, we'll offer the second remember. Remember the stories of slavery, and you will never stop working for freedom. Remember their fear at the edge of the sea.
And self-doubt will never defeat you.
Remember when desperation turned to celebration, and you will never let go of hope. Remember the words of the Baal Shem Tov. Forgetfulness leads to exile. Remembrance is the secret of redemption. We turn together on page 164, our song of freedom and redemption.
Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
We are a faith that acknowledges our ancestral ties, and we begin on 168 with a prayer that forms the core of our tefillah. It always begins at the beginning with Abraham and Sarah, Isaac, Rebekah, Jacob, Rachel, and Leah. Invite all who are able to please rise. 168.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'il, Ha'gadol, Ha'gibor, Ve'Hanora. Gomel chasadim tovim vekonei hakol vezocher chasei avot ve'imahot ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה.
זוכרנו לחיים,
מלך עוזר ומשיח ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה.
the bottom of 170. Power beyond power, from whom salvation springs, sovereign over life and death, who is like you? Together, merciful God, who compares with you? With tender compassion, you remember all creatures for life. Faithful and true, worthy of our trust, you sustain our immortal yearnings. In you we place our undying hopes. Wellspring of blessing, power eternal, you are the one who gives and renews all life. We invite you, friends, to be seated. Page 178. On Rosh Hashana, this is written. On the fast of Yom Kippur, this is sealed. We take a moment to look at 178 at the bottom. Page 180. You are everything that we praise you for, O God, slow to anger, quick to forgive. You do not wish the death of sinners, but urge them to return from their ways and live. Until the day of death, you wait for them. You accept them at once if they return. Since you created us, you know our impulses. We are but flesh and blood. We turn ahead, friends, to 202.
Please rise.
Hakaydo
206, friends, please remain standing as we call upon Dr. Scott Spencer to offer our shofar blasts on this holy day.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu lishma kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Tekiah. Shvarim Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shvarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah. Please be seated. 207. Have a seat.
הרשת שפתנו ירה לפניך ערום ונישא. הרשת שפתנו ירה לפניך ערום ונישא. מבין ומאזין, מביט ומקשיב לכל תקיעותינו. ותקבל ברחמים, ברחמים וברצון, סדר, סדר, מלכויותינו.
The sound of the shofar is meant to wake us up. It's meant to wake us up from our slumber, to connect us to that right path that we are supposed to be on. Those of us who drive here in Los Angeles, we are all too well aware of that swerve alert, letting us know that there is something in our lane and that we need to get over and course correct. These high holy days, this Rosh Hashanah, that sound of the shofar, that is our swerve alert. How are we going to switch lanes? How are we going to course correct? How are we going to find ourselves on the right path in this new year? Let us pause for our own silent meditations, our own silent prayers, our own silent thoughts on how we change our path in this coming year.
Sim shalom, tova uvracha ba'olam, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu ve'al kol ve'kol amecha. כי באור פניך נתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו תורת חיים ואהבת חסד וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחמים ושלום. לחיים טובים ולשלום. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה
In just a few moments on page 223, we will open the Ark for Avinu Malkeinu. And as we open that Ark, we'll also open our hearts to the words and the sounds and the melodies of Avinu Malkeinu, that ever-present God that surrounds ourselves and our being and our community. But on this Rosh Hashana, as we open the Ark, we open our hearts to that understanding that that sense of godliness is not only found on a mountaintop, and it's not only found at the seashore. That sense of godliness is in all inside of us. That Avinu Malkeinu is resting within, waiting for Rosh Hashanah, for us to open up, discover that spark within, and truly return to the community, to the person, to the soul that we were meant to be. Let the words stir in us on page 223 as we rise together.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'aneinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu v'aneinu, ki ein lanu ma'asim.
page 228. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, El Chapayim V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed L'Alafim, Nosei Avon V'Afesha, V'Chata V'Nakeh. Together, friends, Adonai, Adonai, God, compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving, and true, showing mercy to the 1,000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, and granting pardon.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Back to you.
Yerushalayim.
Say Torah, Udvar Adonai
Yerushalayim. Emitzion, Etzei Torah, Udvar Adonai Yerushalayim.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'avo Yisrael. Baruch Shenatan Torah Le'avo Yisrael. B'kedushato Mizion. Tetzei Torah Udvar Adonai Yerushalayim. Mizion. Tetzei Torah Udvar Adonai Yerushalayim. Mizion. Tetzei Torah Shana Tova Adonai Yerushalayim. Mizion. Tetzei Torah.
There he is. A few seats down, and then I'll find somebody else.
Torah Le'avo Yisrael. Shana Tova. Torah Le'avo Yisrael. B'kedushato Mizion. Tetzei Torah Adonai Yerushalayim. Mizion. Tetzei Torah Udvar Adonai Yerushalayim.
We invite the past presidents and officers to come down, please.
Israel ve'oraita ve'kudesha ve'richu chayhu. Israel ve'oraita kudesha ve'richu chayhu. Torah, Torah, Alleluia. Torah, Torah, Alleluia. Torah, Torah, Alleluia. Torah, Alleluia.
Yeah, just- Guys. Steve. You may be seated.
Thank you.
Just move the stool. My privilege to invite forward our officers, our trustees, and our past presidents to offer the first Aliyah. Baruch Hu. They're not here? Elia, Brennan, come and join us since you're reading Torah today. Elia Torkian and Brennan Jacobs are going to be reading Torah for us. I know it's hard to get all our board together all in one thing, but here we're going to try. Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Amen.
Vayehi achar hadvarim ha'ele veha Elohim nisa et Avraham vayomer elav Avraham vayomer hineni vayomer את בנך, את יהירך, אשר אהבת, את יצחק, ולך לך אל ארץ המוריה, והעלהו שם לעולה על אחד ההרים, אשר אומר אליך. וישכם אברהם בבוקר, ויחבוש את חמורו, ויקח את שני נעריו איתו, ואת יצחק בנו, ויבקע עצי עולה, ויקם וילך על המקום אשר אמר לו האלוהים. ביום השלישי וישא אברהם את עיניו, וירא את המקום מרחוק.
Amen. You can follow our Torah reading, friends, on page 240, story of Abraham and the binding of Isaac. Thank you, 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 thank you. Well done. For our second Aliyah, we invite forward our campers from Camp Newman, from 6 Points SciTech, from 6 Points Sports Camp, from Hess Kramer, our Unity officers, and if all of them would come forward at this time. Baruch Adonai Habarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Habarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. ויאמר אברהם אל נעריו, שובו לכם פה עם החמור, ואני והנער נלכה עד כה, ונשתחווה ונשוב עליכם. ויקח אברהם את עצי העולה, וישם על יצחק בנו, ויקח בידו את האש ואת המאכלת, וילכו שניכם יחדיו. ויאמר יצחק אל אברהם אביו, ויאמר אביו, ויאמר הנני בני, ויאמר הנה האש והעצים, ואיה הסה לעולה. ויאמר אברהם אלוהים יראה לו הסה לעולה בני, וילכו שניהם יחדיו.
ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu, baruch ata Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. For our third Aliyah this morning, we invite forward members of the Chevra Torah class who have been studying with Rabbi Stanley Davids. Mona? Steve, pass this out. The first word is Baruch. Everybody ready? Baruch. 1, 2, 3. Baruch. Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai. Amen.
Vayavo el hamakom asher amar lo haElohim vayiven sham Avraham et hamitzbeach vaya'aroch et ha'etzim vaya'akov et Yitzhak beno vayasem oto al hamitzbeach mima'on la'etzim vayishlach Avraham et yado vayikach et hama'ahelet lishot et beno vayikra elav malach Adonai min hashemayim vayomer Avraham vayomer hineni Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
We rise together as we lift the Torah.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל, על פי אדוני ביד משה. לי, 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 la
We thank all our Torah blessors and our readers. We turn, friends, in the middle of our Torah service as we embrace Torah. We embrace those who are ill with our Misha Berach. If you know of someone who is ill and you'd like to mention his or her name at this time, please feel comfortable in doing so, for we draw strength from one another as we pray for the welfare of all within our community. We hold their names in our hearts, friends. We unite them with the names that remain within our hearts as we turn to our Misha Berach prayer for healing.
Misha Berach, Avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, veLeah, Hu Yivarech, veYirapeh et hacholim.
To lead us this morning in our Haftarah, which you can follow on 247 for the blessings, and then the actual Haftarah will be on 259. We invite forward Francis Spencer Shapiro, Alan Schultz, and Emily Glenn. 247 for the blessings, 252 at the bottom for the reading of the Haftarah. 252.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'b'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
Vatitpalel Hana Vatomar Alat Libi Ba'adonai Ramakani Ba'adonai Rachav Pi Al'ova Ki Semachti Beshuatecha En Kodesh Ka'adonai Ki En Biltecha Ve'en Tur Keloheinu Al tarbu tidabru, givoha, givoha, yetze ata mi pichem, ki el deot Adonai, velo nitkanu alilot, keshet giborim chatim, v'nichshalim atru chayil. Sevaim balechem niskaru, urevim chadelu, ad akara yalda shiva, berbat banim umlalach.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, sur kol haolamim, sadik bechol hadorot, ha'el haneman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'medaber u'mekayem, shekol devara emet v'tzedek. Al haTorah ve'al havodah ve'al hanivim ve'al yom hazikaron hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu lechavod u'letifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol kai tamid le'olam va'ed Udvachamet v'kayam la'ad Baruch atah Adonai Melech kol haaretz Mekadesh Yisrael Ve'yom hazikaron.
Amen.
We're going to rise together on page 276 as we return the Torah to the Ark.
I had the shock of my life in January when my doctor said, pack up, you're going to the hospital tonight, and we need to operate tomorrow. I'd certainly had a history of back trouble, but did not know that my psoas, the pain in my left leg, would result in emergency orthopedic spinal fusion surgery, nor that I would have 2 surgeries, leaving me with 8 screws and 2 rods. I am titanium. These last 7.5 months have been fraught with difficulty. some of the lowest moments of my life and some of the most profound joys. Any of us who have undergone surgery or have family members who have been hospitalized or stand beside our friends as they go through this process, we know the depths of difficulty and the heights of feeling better. I can vividly remember when my pain pre-surgery made it difficult for me to walk, to carry, or to use stairs. Sleeping was difficult, standing was agonizing, and trying to retain my humor and humanity during that time was a challenge. Many of us endure such aches and pains each and every day of our lives. We have a habit of ignoring our health, which we take for granted, until all of a sudden there's something that's not working, and then we get upset and possibly panic. When everything's okay, we don't pay much attention. But when there's some kind of problem, we are forced to focus on our health. And it's far worse than having a flat tire or not having the air conditioning work or the ATM is on the fritz or some other annoyance. I'm so grateful for all those who have reached out to me since my surgeries. Inside the hospital or a nursing home, alongside the IV tubes and the metered doses, there is a striking feeling for a patient of being alone or abandoned, which is mitigated by friendly words and faces. Being sick, said one pundit, is like being in a foreign country with no tour book. Just as no one can ever see an entire country's every corner, we can never fully know the terrain of our own illness. We may need to explore anew. Illness may cause us to creak, have aches and pains, slur, or falter. Illness may claim a body, but it cannot contaminate a soul. That's why in our daily morning prayer we traditionally offer the Asher Yatzar, words which praise the finely formed network of our bodies, knowing full well that the marvelous structure and intricate design are a daily gift, the source of our health and strength. I know from so many of you about your own personal difficulties. You've shared your suffering with me. Each of us, when ill, can be frightened by it and courageously battle, sometimes even conquer, heart disease or hip replacement or so much more. How we all truly pray for health in a world seriously in need of healing. This has been an essential aspect of my rabbinate for over 40 years. I've gone to hospitals to visit patients, to bring them comfort, or a story, or contact with the outer world, or just a handshake. Sometimes it's to simply let them know someone cares about them. In our tradition, the Shekhinah, the close, feminine, indwelling presence of God, is there at the head of a patient's bed. And we who engage in the important mitzvah of Bikur Cholim, visiting the sick, are partners with God when we offer the silent and simple prayers from the heart for someone in need. Tradition says we take away 1/60th of an individual's pain when we visit. Our Misha Berak prayer for healing is an attempt to break down those barriers of isolation and ally ourselves spiritually with those in need. Prayer can motivate our sense of compassion, reaching out, build on the concerns from family and support from the community that can be great and noble assets at moments of crisis. Any of us who grew up with the Union Prayer Book or with Gates of Prayer, we never saw a prayer for healing. We ignored those needs in Reformed Jewish services of days gone by. We learned that healing is a huge part of the human experience, which must be echoed within the words of our prayers. This congregation was among the first to sing the Misha Berach, those words of healing that we led earlier, commissioned in memory of Jerry Rubin by his family, words from the Torah as Cantor J edited them, and music by Craig Taubman. Because it is all in Hebrew, It's used by our sister Reformed congregations in Israel. We may not believe that our words will cure cancer. We may not be believers in miracles where human words can force divine intervention. God is not our cosmic bellhop. But we, friends, we are God's messengers. When the body needs repair, the emotions of the mind and the soul of the ill person and ours can be touched deeply. At such vulnerable moments, it can be really difficult to depend on others. Being ill can be extraordinarily humbling. It challenges our sense that we can do it all. It forces us to accept help from others. It can actually be a bit selfish to decline help because it prevents someone from doing a mitzvah. There is nothing shameful or embarrassing in accepting help. Even I thought I could do it all after I was discharged. It took some doing. Margaret's unique way of arm twisting. But I accepted my limitations and I had an aide at the house. Best decision in the early healing process. Some of us want the whole world to know about our illness, and we broadcast it. We can't stop talking about it, and others among us keep a private tab on the situation. The parents of a young boy were concerned that he had never spoken. His parents took him to every specialist. None could unlock the mystery. Then one day, the boy's mother placed his breakfast before him, and out of the blue, he said, "Hey, the toast is burnt." Mother was ecstatic. She asked the boy why he had never spoken before. The boy answered, "Well, up till now, everything was okay." Sometimes not all is okay. And not feeling well can play into our fears, our loneliness, our trepidation, hoping that things will improve, that we will leave the world of hospital gowns behind, that there will be a better medicine to help us fight our illness, that our physical therapy will help our shoulder or our foot, something that will improve our physical condition. Will there be a cure? Will I return to the me I was prior to surgery? Will this crisis go away? We may start to feel unbalanced and get impatient when there's a long road ahead. We can get angry and take it out on others when time is simply the handmaid of healing. Our spirits, even when low, are also part of the map of our recovery. At those troubled times, feeling bad, we may feel abandoned by God. I felt spiritually lost for the first time following my surgery. These thoughts had never welled up within me prior to surgery. There were lonely hours, trying times, and especially scary moments. When the physical therapist at the hospital asked me to come down from the bed and use the walker for a first time, I almost panicked. The longest distance I have ever walked was the 6 feet from the bed with the walker to the threshold of the door. I was frightened. I felt alone. Why me, oh God? Where was God to help me as my heart was pumping and I had shortness of breath? But I made it. Margaret and all my family helped me come out of the darkness and into the light. I was grateful then, and I've been grateful ever since that I have the ability to walk again. Such moments help us to take stock of our lives, what values are truly the most important. The faces of our family members and our friends appear to us more clearly. We recall moments of our lives with both pride and regret. We are reminded of what is most dear to us and treasure those moments more carefully. That's probably why our ancestors wanted us to recall the Exodus each and every day. When the Israelites began a singular journey upon leaving Egypt, who among them knew it would take 40 years? Perhaps they thought it would be a few weeks' trip at most. Such a journey of transformation takes a long time. It required the Israelites to look into their past with deep introspection. They had to remember how they were treated and how they felt under the Egyptians. They wanted to ensure that memory would last, not only in our prayers, but also in our rituals from the Seder to the Sukkah. It helped them to figure out why it took so long to enter the promised land of Israel. And so it is with our healing, which doesn't follow a normal path either. It can be long and circuitous. It's filled with rules to follow and paths to walk, as well as moments of contention and times of strife. But with the advice and guidance and caring from physicians, therapists, family, friends, and maybe even a rabbi or cantor, we can make the journey along with all of its challenges. A visitor in a sick man's room asked what ailed him. After the sick man's response, the visitor exclaimed, "Oh, my father died from the same disease." The sick man became extremely agitated, very distressed, and the visitor quickly added, "Oh, don't worry, I'll pray to God to heal you." To which the sick man replied, "And when you pray, add a prayer that I may be spared visits from any more stupid people like you." My surgery and subsequent healing forced me to challenge my God belief, as each of us does in our lifetime. Friends, we can't use an outdated belief borrowed from the Greeks of a powerful Zeus in charge of the heavens sending down lightning bolts from the sky. We have to grow our belief, especially in the face of difficulties. I do not believe that God causes tragedies. My God, the one about whom I teach, the one I hope my children understand, the one to whom I pray, does not unleash thunderous pain, hurricanes of tears, or worry about bones and ligaments. The world in which we live has a built-in randomness, which is entirely unfathomable and unexplainable. And our good health and fortune neither send a message that we are prosperous and happy believers, nor does a negative medical diagnosis mark an evil person to be devastated by a terrible illness. To say that someone's lifestyle, religious faith, beliefs, or personal behavior caused illness as a punishment is a belief I wholeheartedly reject. This is terrible theology. Televangelist Pat Robertson once suggested God was punishing Americans with Hurricane Katrina, and that a pact with the devil brought us the devastating earthquake in Haiti. What happened is not a religious payback. He gives people of faith a bad name. God does not deliberately cause human suffering. It never ceases to amaze that in times of amazing human suffering, somebody says something that could be so utterly stupid, but like clockwork, it happens with some regularity. Rabbi Harold Kushner wrote words I hope you can take to heart instead. A compassionate God who grieves with us is much greater than a God who hurts us. Anybody can hurt. Stones can hurt. But you need great depth of soul to be able to reach out and help. When you cry out to God in pain and fear, how does God answer? I believe God answers by sending us people, by motivating us to become doctors and nurses, good friends and neighbors reaching out to help each other. The problem with the reward and punishment theory is that it makes us feel guilty when bad things happen. What did I do to deserve this? And it causes us to be angry at God, an anger that cuts us off from the sources of consolation and strength which religion might bring. God helps us by giving us qualities of strength, courage, humor, and patience. We can't ask for a problem-free life. We can't ask God to make our family or friends immune to disease. We don't believe in a God who can weave a magic spell around us so that bad things never happen. But we can pray for courage, for strength to bear the unbearable, for the grace to remember the positive instead of focusing on the negative, to seek patience when complaining is easier, we may end up with more courage, more strength, and more patience than we ever knew we had. At times of illness, at moments of despair, what we need more than anything else is to find comfort in helping others and being helped by others. Our human kindness becomes the reminder of God's love and concern. The great psychiatrist Karl Menninger once said he never knew of anyone who was not helped by helping others. We not only give to someone else, but we also learn to accept from someone else in order to regain a sense of hope and meaning in life. A Maggid, a preacher who would go from town to town telling stories, once spoke of a little girl who was sent by her mother on an errand. The girl was gone longer than her mother thought proper. When she finally returned, the mother asked for an explanation. "Oh," she replied, "I met Ruthie on the way and her doll was broken, so I stopped to help her." "You mean you helped her to fix the doll?" "No, Mother, I don't know how to fix dolls." I stopped to help her cry. I stopped to help her cry. May each of us care for one another throughout the year ahead. Amen.
Alan Golad, and I have the honor to serve as president of University Synagogue. It is my privilege to introduce our members and clergy who join us today on the Bima. To my left, Barry Pressman, Holly Left Pressman, Don Kaplan, Linda Kaplan, Rabbi Simons, Rabbi Feinstein, Cantor Shapiro, still immediate past president, Donna Shapiro, Angel Castillo, Tracy Levine, Harlan Levine, our board trustee, Jonathan Carson, and Stephanie Carson. This afternoon, Tashlich will be led by Cantor Shapiro. It will be held at Will Rogers State Beach at Lifeguard Station 15 at 3 o'clock. To get there, to go to the parking lot at Temescal and PCH and just head south to the end of the parking lot. Enjoy the Tashlich experience in the natural beauty of our Santa Monica Bay. Our Introduction to Judaism class will be taught in January by Cantor Shapiro. You give us 18 nights, and we will give you 4,000 years. Our theme this year is Kol Echad, one voice, one community. Lend your voice to our community by participating in a synagogue committee or event. Inside your prayer book is an interest card, looks like this. I would ask you to please take a look at it, fill it out, and drop it off with any of our ushers or staff. Everything we do can be found in our weekly newsletter, The Torch. Please check your email inbox, and if it's not there, look in your spam. And if it's still not there, let us know, and we'll get you on the list. Here's the other thing we have, this very cool magnet that has the entire synagogue calendar for the year. Pick one up. It's on a table on your way out today, please. I want to thank Susan Rosenstein and the choir and our soloists. Thank you for enriching our experience here. And if you have not met Toby Burkow, she is our new executive director. Please introduce yourself to her, or you can sign up for Tea with Toby. I also want to thank Bonnie Cabri for making everything go so smoothly and making it so easy for all of us. Now it's my pleasure to welcome my friend and my fellow Havarah member, Zane Levine, to share his experience of Israel. Zane.
Shana Tova. I would like to ask you all a very simple question tonight. What is home? At first thought, the answer is simple. Home is where you live. But think about it for a second, and you realize how complex this question can actually be. If I could pass this mic around tonight, I'm sure that I would get 100 different responses. Home is my house, because I sleep there. Home is my camp, because of the memories I've made. Home is school, because I spend the most amount of time there. I used to define home as my house, because I felt safe there, feel safe there. But earlier this year, I had an experience that would change my definition of home forever. About 7 months ago, I woke up in the morning both nervous beyond relief and excited beyond containment. I was about to embark on a 3-month-long journey to Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, for the first time. I didn't know it, but in 18 hours, I would touch down in Ben Gurion Airport and immediately fall in love with a place that would soon become my new definition of home. But what is home to me? Home is the busy streets of Tel Aviv, always crowded with people, no matter how early or how late. Home to me is Tichon Chadash, the school that took me in for 3 months and acted as a medium, bringing me close to all of the people I've met, people I still consider to be my best friends. Home is bargaining at the mark, Shuk Hapish Bishim, and practicing my Hebrew through the act of bringing prices down from 60 shekels to 40 shekels. Home is the beach, and the paddleboarding, sailing, and surfing I did with all of the people who agreed to do it with me. Home is the comfy apartment I lived in for 3 months on Hankin Street, where I shared a room with the person who now knows more about me than anyone else in this world. To me, the land of Israel is home. Thank you.
Zane, thank you very much for sharing your experiences of Israel. University Synagogue supports Israel through our Israel Humanitarian Relief Fund. The fund supports Israel in many ways, including the education of native-born Reform rabbis, social justice programs, the Israel Religious Action Center, and youth programming. Please join us in supporting our home and our family in Israel through your donation. In your prayer books, you will find this envelope here. And if you could, please make your donation to the Israel Humanitarian Fund. And as you depart services today, please hand your donation to any of our ushers or to any of our staff members. L'Shana Tova.
Please rise. You may be seated. We'd like to call back up our Baal Tekiah, Dr. Scott Spencer, as we continue with our shofar service on page 267. This section of the shofar service is remembrance. Let us remember those moments in this past year where we missed the mark, and let us move into this new year with the sound of the shofar. Remember those ways, and let it be together for us. The middle of page 267. God of remembrance, remember the covenant of our ancestors. We affirm it today. Remember we are a people of noble ideals. Help us attain them. Remember all your people, all the nations on the road to peace. Bless their efforts. Remember with mercy the binding of Isaac, the sorrow of Sarah, Abraham's words, here I am. Blessed are you, Adonai. You remember the covenant. You remember us. We rise together on page 268. Tekiah. Shivarim Trua. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shivarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Trua. Tekiah. You may be seated.
We turn together to page 281, and we enter the last section of our shofar service. Let us offer these words responsively. Summoned to battle and justice, we heard the rebuke of our prophets.
Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up your voice like a shofar.
Goodness of the world, tuvu shalom. Today we stand before the shofar to hear its voice of hope, resilient and strong, proclaiming freedom, promising redemption.
In days to come, a great shofar will be sounded. Those lost in the land of Assyria and those cast away in the land of Egypt shall come back and worship Adonai in the holy mountain in Jerusalem.
To speak out and never grow weary, to hold fast to the message of Sinai. To believe in a time when all life will be cherished, to work for that day and to know it will come. The blast of the horn sustains us in faith.
My God, Adonai, shall blow the shofar and advance in a stormy tempest.
A mighty call that never stops. The shofar resounds forever.
All you who live in the world and inhabit the earth, when a flag is raised in the hills, take note. When a shofar is blown, give heed.
We rise together on page 284. Baruch atah Adonai shomei kol truah amo Yisrael barachamim. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people Israel. Tekiah. Shivarim truah. Tekiah, Tekiah, Shivarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Truah, Tekiah Gedolah.
Arashat Zipotinu Yarav Lefanecha El Ram Benisa Arashat Zipotinu El Ram Benisa Mevinu Mazin Mahabitu Makshi Lekol Tikriyateinu Utkabel Verachamim V'ratzon Seder Shofroteinu.
Not bad for a cantor's husband, I think. I wonder if that was part of your entrance into cantorial program. No, it wasn't. Gosh, aren't we lucky? 286, you made it, he made it, we're all great. 286, friends, Aleinu.
Aleinu Lishabeach L'Adonai Kol L'Atit Gedolah Liotzer Bereshit Shelo Hasanu Ki Goyei Haratzot Velo Samanu Ki Mishpechot Adama Shelo Samech Elokeinu Kahem V'goraleinu Kechol Hamonam Banachnu Koreim U'mishtachavim U'modim
289. May the time not be distant, our God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when lies and bigotry shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. So may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your dominion be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Ne'emar. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. So it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. Our thoughts turn to loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days, and those who died at this season in years past. Our hearts open as well to the wider circles of loss in our community and wherever grief touches the human family. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be a blessing in this new year and always. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayei chon v'yomei chon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach la'alam u'la'almei almaya yitparach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Kudisha Berichu La'ela Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechamata Da'amiran Ba'alma V'Imru Amen Yehei Shalom Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen Oseh Shalom B'Imromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are saddened among us here and wherever they may be, and we say together, Amen.
Amen.
Friends, we turn to 294. I want to thank our choir. I want to thank Brian in the sound booth. I want to thank all our custodial and secretarial and administrative team for doing all they did to keep us safe and organized here. We depend on them, and we thank them ever so much. I want to thank Alan and the Board of Trustees, our officers and past presidents for leading our congregation so wonderfully. And of course, to my dear colleagues, to Cantor Shapiro, to Rabbi Simons, to Cantor Freilich, who will be joining us as he did last night. He'll be joining us on Yom Kippur. And to all of you, a sweet and healthy new year. 294.
Hayom, 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 hayom. Hayom, hayom, hayom tamzeinu. Amen. Hayom, 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 hayom. Hayom, hayom, hayom tevarcheinu. Amen. Hayom, 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 hayom. Hayom, 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 hayom. Hayom, hayom, hayom tigadleinu.
Amen.
Hayom, 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 hayom. Hayom, hayom, hayom tidrashenu l'tova. Amen. Hayom, 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 hayom. Hayom, hayom, hayom tiktevin chayim tovim.
Amen.
Hayom, 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 hayom. Hayom, 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 hayom. Hayom, hayom, hayom tishna shabateinu.
Amen.
Hayom, 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 hayom. Hayom, hayom, hayom timechem tzidkecha.
Amen. 301. L'shana tova tikatevu. May you be inscribed, and may you, through the time now of Yom Kippur, techatemu, be sealed in the book of life for a good year. Have a wonderful year. Shana tova.
Shana tova. Oh my God, your son. You guys must